Okay, now we're going to talk about intentional planning, what to do with your time. So, again, you don't want to fall into the old patterns of just letting your time get filled up with whatever everybody else wants. So, let's go through it. So, here are some things that you can schedule with the new time that you create or things that you want to prioritize, right? So, you can find activities that add value to your life. We've talked a lot about this already. So, refer to your values and the getting to know yourself worksheets. Do, if you haven't done them or figured out those exercises, definitely go back and do it, because that'll be important to figure out what is fun, what's relaxing, what is energy giving, what will fill up your life force energy, right? And also downtime. Make sure you're getting downtime for yourself if you need it. Now, some people get much more energized by social interactions and social activities, and you may not need as much downtime as other people. That's fine. I'm not saying that you must have a ton of downtime, but for a lot of people who end up burning themselves out, they need to have some kind of a recharge or some way that they're connecting with themselves, right? So, make sure you're creating a space in the calendar for it and honor it, right? Because your scheduled downtime is an obligation. It's just an obligation to yourself. And it's one that is really, really important for your well being. So don't let others intrude on this. This one is really, really important because the obligation you have towards yourself is more important than an obligation to anybody else. Like, it truly, truly is. I know this is probably not a message you've been given over your lifetime, but you are number one in your life. You have to make sure you're taking care of yourself first. So make sure you're deciding what you want to do and literally put it in your calendar. Like, put it in, make sure the people, especially if you have people in the same household as you that like to make plans without you knowing or that sort of thing, make it very, very clear what days and times you have set aside for yourself. And you can also fill it in with things that you wish you had more time for. That's something that we all say, right? Is like, I wish I had more time to do the things that I want to do. So what are these things? And now start filling those in or making time for it. And, this might be exercising more, reading more, crafting, learning new skills, whatever it might be, whatever it is that you've been hoping for more time for. This is the stuff that you have to start doing. And you don't need to set aside, if you're learning a new skill, you don't need to have, 2 hours every day to learn this skill. You can just do a little at a time if you want to, let it creep in and start just learning and growing in it, right? But try to resist numbing out too much. I think we've talked about this already, but with TV or your phone or things that really aren't energy giving, things that aren't really adding true value to your life. Sure, they might feel relaxing, but it's only because you're able to, disregard all the other things that are happening in your brain and just sort of, like I said, numb out on these things. But you can actually create better, more fruitful thoughts and things like that if you're doing the things that you enjoy. So make sure that you're being very curious and open-minded as you go through this practice of adding in new things that you've always wished you wanted to do, or adding in new activities. So what in these new activities is making you feel really good, right? Keep following that path. Keep going towards the things that feel good. And maybe there's some things that aren't what you thought they might be. Maybe you decide you want to start learning how to play the piano, but actually, as it turns out, you hate it. You actually don't really like it at all. You don't have to keep going. Just drop it. Move on to the next thing. What might be another thing on your list that you wish you could do? And just really maintain a lot of fluidity in the space. This is a constant experiment. Finding the things that you enjoy and you love doing is always experimental. So be willing to let things go, be willing to change and adjust, add new things. Who knows, with this open mind, what you might end up discovering that you don't even know exists right now. So learn, experiment, grow. And like I said, if you're trying new things, start small, right? A lot of people say, well, go big or go home, right? But I don't really believe in that philosophy when it comes to learning new things. You can just start really, really small, start seeing how it feels. So if exercise is something that you really wish you had more time for and you start working that in, you don't have to go straight from nothing to a 90-minute hardcore workout. You can just start with quick, short walks, right? 5-10 minutes even, just to get yourself used to getting out there and doing it. If you want to read more but have trouble focusing, I know that that's something that I had a real problem with a few years ago, is I would try to read more and I really wanted to read more, but it seemed like I could only get a page or two in before I would feel really distracted or really tired, and I wouldn't be able to focus on what I was actually reading. Like I might read an entire page and then realize that I have no idea what I just read because I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't fully present for what I was doing. So sometimes you have to start small with these things and either pick that you just have to start with just 1 or 2 pages is all you set for yourself, or start with some easier books if you want. Like it's okay if it's not up to like total upper literature level. It's okay to start smaller. And then also I found that if you find books that are also, they have a movie or a TV series that you've watched and there's a book form, that it can be easier to start by doing that because you can already attach your brain to who these characters are, what the storyline is, and it just gets you used to reading the words and hearing some extra, descriptive elements and things about it. And, just gets you used to the process before you might move on to more serious topics or other things that you might want to try, or unfamiliar things at least. So there is no worksheet for this section, but make sure that you're going into the community. And if you need some inspiration on some things to try, what other people have done, ask for some advice, ask for ideas, you can get there. And then in the next video, I will see you and we will talk about ongoing schedule maintenance. So I will see you there.